Whether women should be able to play sports with men has been an issue for many years, and a lot of people have a lot of differing opinions. But my question is, since when do you need a penis to play a sport? You don't use it to swing a racket, you don't shoot a puck with it, you don't kick a ball with it. So why does it matter who has one, who doesn't? In the case of Justine Blaney, she wanted to play boys hockey in the Metro Toronto Hockey League, but according to Regulation 250 of the OWA, she wasn't allowed to play because she wasn't a male. But she took this to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that the Ontario Human Rights Code violated her rights, and it wasn't equal for men and women. So even though they changed the Ontario Human Rights Code, some people still believe that women shouldn't be able to play with men. But by not letting them play, it violates Section 15.1 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which protects the equal protection of citizens from discrimination against factors such as their sex. And this is applicable to every girl that wants to play, including Justine Blaney, including girls of this time right now, and it violates their rights when they aren't allowed to play. So when you look at some of the arguments that people have about why women shouldn't be allowed to play, one of the main ones is that women aren't strong enough and they can't compete with men. Scientifically, yes, women have less testosterone, less cardiovascular capacity, and less muscle than men, but there's always exceptions. If you take Hayley Wickenheiser, she's an Olympian, and she's played professional men's hockey and is kept up. She's an example of a woman who can play with men. And what about that wimpy guy that's in your class? He looks like he can be broken into. He doesn't look like he's ever picked up a weight in his life. Yeah, are you going to make him play with the women in whatever sport it is because he doesn't look like he's fast enough or big enough or strong enough? No, because it doesn't make any sense. So why would women be any different? To judge someone based on characteristics other than skill is wrong. And just because someone has a different body type, it doesn't mean that it's less capable or they can't compete just as well. In addition, a lot of people argue, well, women have their own leagues, why don't they compete in them? Women's leagues are really popular, and a lot of girls do play women's sports, but other girls want to play with boys, and they have a perfectly good reason. For the most part, men's leagues are better than women's, and women's leagues often have less funding, get the worst playing times, and they also have different rules compared to men's sports. If you look at Milton has various sports teams for guys and for various ages, but when you look at women's sports, specifically hockey, Milton doesn't have a hockey team for girls. Women have to travel to Halton, other parts of Halton, such as Acton and Georgetown, just to practice and play the sport that they love. So when you look at that, maybe women just want to have a better playing experience. They aren't trying to make a big fuss and they aren't trying to cause an issue, but they want to have as much opportunity to play sports as much as men. Another argument that people have is, well, it's unfair for women to play with men. Men are losing out on opportunities. Well, if a woman makes a team, she obviously has the skill level, and yeah, she might have taken a guy's place, but she can obviously play better than that guy. And when it comes to sports, that's what you want. You want your team to be the best that they can, and competition doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what your gender is. So when it comes to men saying, well, it's uncomfortable for men, what about the woman changing with them? Well, yeah, that's a totally valid reason, but there's laws in place and accommodations can be made so that people don't have to go through that. Women can change in a separate room. They can come to the game partly dressed. There's all these different things that can happen so that women can play sports with men and not have everyone be uncomfortable. So regardless of how you feel, it can't be ignored that by not allowing women to play sports with men, it denies them rights and it denies them opportunities. And women playing sports with men, it's not about causing a fuss or creating a problem. It's about equality for all people, no matter what their gender is.